welcome to Sestra-Tainment.
Sestra-Tainment.
I'm Lenora.
And I'm Dee.
And we're coming to you today in regards to everything entertainment. Yeah, so sis, you are up first this week, so what you got?
All right, so the first thing that I have this week is actually, it's kind of devastating. It's actually about the earthquakes that hit Turkey and Syria. They said they could feel them as far as like Egypt.
Oh, really?
That's how far that they could feel the tremors. Yeah, because, all right, so if you, I don't know why you wouldn't know unless you're living under a rock. But so the earthquake struck, it was southern and central Turkey. I try to put both of them together. It wouldn't come out. Mm-hmm. Southern and central Turkey, and then the northwestern part of Syria. But it was a 7.8.
Good gracious.
The size was a 7.8. There's videos of like people walking around, and you see apartment complexes just falling straight down to the ground.
Gosh.
Yeah, it's really bad. I mean, like. So they said it's at least, as of, I think last week, it was at least 50,000 people that have been confirmed dead. They said the non-fatal injuries are around 115,000. It's like 2 million people, 2.4 million people actually, that are displaced because they have no home anymore. And this has destroyed 6,589 buildings.
I can believe it, because something that strong, and you don't know, I mean, I don't know what the infrastructure is like in Turkey or Syria or anywhere in regards to how it is structured. So therefore, just thinking about the fact that if you built your own home, let's say, did you build it in such a way that it can even withstand an earthquake, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
So but no, it was really sad. I did see that they even had some recovery efforts going on.
Yeah, so there were a bunch of countries that actually did go and help. Some of them were Southern Korea. We went over there and helped from the U.S. I know like El Salvador went over there. The British went over there. So it's a bunch of countries that did come together to go and help them out. But I mean, it's just so devastating, like the way how everything just happened. And like there are videos of like this woman who she feels the earthquake, and this is like security camera videos. So she feels the earthquake, and then she goes and she's in a children's hospital, and she just starts going to rooms and grabbing kids and just pounding them up on top of her and trying to get other people so they can get out. And you can see in the camera as parts of the building is starting to come down. Like you see like the ceiling panels start to come down and stuff starts flying around. So it's extremely crazy. But then get this. Excuse me. So, 9 hours later, after the first earthquake, there was another one. That was a 7.7, and it was in the northeast of, I guess, of Turkey. So I don't even know how. Karamanamar, I don't even know how to say it, but some Providence. I know I'm butchering it. I'm sorry that I am butchering it, but it is a Providence that actually is that's where actually the epicenter was. So I mean, it's very devastating. If you do have any way that you can help, here are some names of places. So you can donate to the Turkish Red Crescent, which is like the Red Cross. But over there, you have the White Helmets, the Syrian American Medical Society. You have Doctors Without Borders. They have like a Blue Cross, not Blue Cross, but the International Blue Crescent Relief and Development Foundation. So they are like delivering food and things like that. So also do your own research, figure out whatever relief programs. I cannot talk today. Relief programs you can donate to, or even if you want to go over there and volunteer, I'm sure they need all the hands they can get.
Yeah, no, it is definitely devastating, because just looking at what was on the news and them showing, like, it was, for some people, I think it went up to like, 4 or 5 days later, they were still pulling people out of the rubble, and people were still alive.
Yeah, still alive.
Little kids, and
what's so crazy? There was like a couple of videos of babies that like the baby was just like looking like, "Hey, I'm here."
Yeah.
Like the babies are all still happy. It's like, you know,
don't know,
they got angels watching over them when you
Yeah.
have little babies that have all this stuff happening, but they're not crushed. Like something just happens to fall at a triangle and not crush the baby.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
There was a man who just had like a big brick, and he just kept hitting on like the side of, that's where his apartment complex was.
Oh, so they could hear him.
So they could hear him, and it's just silent.
Because
So
that's the scary part
heartbreaking.
is once it's over and you're surrounded by rubble.
I know.
How
like,
do they
God,
find you? How hard is it for them to get to you? And when they're trying to get to you, what can fall on you that can hurt you worse than how bad you were hurt from the original event? And if you're in the middle of a building, how long does it take for them to get there? And how do you survive until then?
That's very true.
You know, it's like no food, no water, no anything. So therefore you just have to...
You know, there was some people that were stuck and they were still trying to figure out how to get them out. Mm-hmm. So they were giving them like water, like they had their face out. So they were just trying to like feed them like caps of water, you know, while they're trying to work on getting them out. So it's very sad. I'm glad that the world did pull together to go and help Syria and Turkey because it shows you that we're not all bad people out here.
No, there are definitely good people in the world.
Yeah, so if you can, go ahead and donate, see if you can volunteer, do whatever you can. But that was all that I had for that.
All right.
So what do you have?
Thank you. Yeah. So I actually am talking about things this week that are all older that I probably should have talked about already, but I was like, oh, I haven't covered this yet. So I'm going to talk about these topics. And so one of them is Wednesday on Netflix. Wednesday. Like so many people have seen it. So many people have talked about it. There's even a dance with somebody who is doing it figure skating from the Wednesday dance and everything. So I think a lot of people are familiar with Wednesday or have already watched it, but I personally thought it was a great show to watch. I really enjoyed it. Of course, Wednesday is the daughter of Morticia and Gomez Adams, and she is the sister of Pugsley. Yeah. And so, you know, Pugsley at the beginning of the show, you know, he's kind of getting picked on at school. You know, the bigger kids at the school are picking on him. And so Wednesday decides to take revenge on those kids that pick on him. I won't say how if you haven't watched it, but let's just say she gets kicked out of school based on that. And so that is, it was basically attempted murder. So what ends up happening is that because she gets kicked out of school, the story kind of gets started with Wednesday going to her mother's alma mater. And when she gets there, really, it's just a story about her, not necessarily the entire family, although they bring elements of the family into it. But it's about her really not fitting in, yet being a person of intrigue at the school where everybody is like, oh, who's she? You know, what's going on with her?
Everybody either wants to know her or they either want to know her or they don't like her automatically.
Yeah, something like that.
It's
or
like
they're just like...
They're haters, or else they're just like, oh, she's kind of cool.
Right, exactly. And so since her mother went there before, it's like the dean of the school used to be her mother's roommate when her mother went to the school. So she's kind of somebody that her mom feels like can keep an eye on Wednesday there. And so she ends up having an extremely bubbly and brightly colored roommate, Enid. And so that ends up kind of being her best friend while she's at school. They're roommates, and it's funny how they even divide the room. There's this big window in the room, and it's so like cute. A beautiful kaleidoscope of colors on one side of the room, and then it's like black, and the cobweb on the other side.
It's like how she changed the colors to like black and like a grayish color and stuff like that. So
exactly. And so so Enid kind of walks her around the school and just gives her the lay of the land about how, you know, you have the werewolves, they're over here, and that's what she is. She's one of the werewolves. So she's a werewolf who doesn't have her like official like howl or her ability just yet. So she kind of feels a little less than some other werewolves that are on campus. And then you have the sirens, for example. So they are a group of people who, you know, like from the water, you know, and you have different people who, you know, are very scaly, I guess, when they're in the water, but then they come out and they look look normal, and they can control people with the sound of their voice and things of that nature. And then you have even people who are like Medusa. So there's one guy who, is like Medusa and can turn people to stone, basically. So he has to keep a hat on just so that he doesn't kill everybody around him. So fortunately, Thing is there and not too far away from Wednesday. Yeah. So as the parents are leaving, they release Thing to kind of hang out on the campus. And so Wednesday, I think, appreciates it after all that Thing is there and kind of keeping an eye on her.
I think that she appreciates it more because now she's not alone.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
so tough. I don't even care if you keep an eye on me or not. It's just but now I just have part of home.
Right. It's like I'm tough, but that helps me to feel more grounded and more centered. So basically, because it's her mom's alma mater, there is a backstory there that they go into about her mom and then Gomez coming on the campus and some things that kind of unfolded there. There's also a storyline in regards to some of the kids on campus getting murdered, and you don't know why, but it's very gruesome graphic murders that take place, and there's some kind of animal beast, I don't know what you want to call it,
some kind of gremlin, I don't know.
That comes out, and as you're watching, you're trying to figure out who is this beast, who is this character, which I figured out relatively easily.
I figured it out quick too.
Yeah, exactly. So as you're watching, or if you've already watched, maybe you also figured it out relatively quickly, but there's definitely a scenario in which Wednesday is invited to a dance, and you would never expect Wednesday to dance, and so the way she dances, you've probably already seen either on a news show or on a TikTok or something, because it became this huge craze that everybody was trying to do this weird, quirky Wednesday dance. And that's where I said even an ice skater did it as part of her performance to do this Wednesday dance. So I would say that it is a quick watch, an easy watch for the entire series. I really enjoyed following the story of Wednesday and her quirky friends, at school, who all have these different abilities, and how they kind of can come together to help and make sure that more students on campus don't die because of this beast that's out there trying to
get all of the kids,
all of them. And then you get the backstory of why that's the case as well. So anyway, that's what I had as my.
They should do the parents when they first meet in college as a spinoff.
That would be good. Yeah, those characters that played them younger.
Yeah, them younger, and make it like a spin-off show. Mm-hmm. And then it would tell you that it will go back and forth from. It would go to the part where you find out about, how they meet when they were younger in college.
Yeah.
And so they say, I think that would be a smart thing to do. Just putting it out there. Also, once again, I did say this on this episode. So
if it happens, you want your money.
Yeah.
All right. So I forgot to say the cast. But I was I totally forgot to say the cast. But the cast has Luis Guzman as Gomez Adams. Yeah. It has Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morticia Adams. And it has Jenna Ortega as Wednesday, which I think she was even up for an award for playing that role. Maybe it was a Golden Globe. You have Gwendoline Christie, who many people know as Brienne of Tarth from Game of Thrones. From Game of Thrones. So she plays the headmistress of the school, or the dean of the school, and she was Catherine Zeta-Jones's roommate, as I had mentioned before. And then you have Christina Ricci on there as well, which I really liked, because she played
one of our Wednesdays.
The Wednesday in the movies when they were doing it back with it was great.
With
Angelica
Cusack,
Houston.
Joan Cusack was in it.
Joan Cusack was in it, and Angelica Houston, and just a bunch of different people.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was so good.
Who played Uncle Fester? Who was the guy who played Uncle Fester?
Oh, the one from Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
Yeah, exactly. So she's on there, not playing Wednesday, of course, but playing someone like a teacher or something at the school. Yeah, exactly. And so, and you have, I'll just say Pugsley is played by Isaac Ordoneza, or done as, sorry. So that is the bits and pieces of the cast. You know, you have people who played various parts in there that are also main characters, but since I was putting this at the end, I just wanted to cover
you know
a few
what?
of the top
I like
characters.
how whoever did this absolutely knew that they wanted Brienne of Tarth to be the headmistress, because the way that they do the angles to where you can't tell that she's actually
45 feet tall.
like but I'm saying, like, she's so much taller than everybody else, so you'll see them and they're like walking and she's walking behind them, but they're a distance in front of her, so it looks like you can still like that. And then when they go up the steps, there's one area when they go up the steps, I don't know why I saw
Paid
this.
attention to it, right?
That's weird.
Because you're a director in your brain.
Maybe so, I don't know. But then they had her go up the steps because, like, they were all walking together, and then they stopped, and she walked around them and walked up the steps, and then they started to walk up the steps with her. So you can still have all of them in the view.
But you can't tell how
that she's like 6'4".
Yeah.
You know? So
exactly. And so many people in Hollywood are like 5'2", 5'3".
Yeah. I think Jenna Ortega is 5'2", 5'3".
Exactly.
So,
So a lot of people are not very tall, so it definitely stands out. So, but
Absolutely.
all right. Well, that is mine, Wednesday, and on Netflix.
All right.
Okay, what you got?
Okay, so look, you know how I always talk about how I can't watch some shows because of the overlapping of the voices.
Yeah, the
when
mouth and the
subtitles,
words and stuff aren't moving together.
So my next two
are those.
Get
out.
But I mean, like, it didn't bother me as much. I don't know why. But maybe I just weren't paying attention to their mouth as much.
Pulled into the storyline.
Well, but one of them isn't really. I guess
It's not that good.
I mean, one of them is like a competition show.
Oh, okay.
But I guess I'm gonna be pulled into that as well. So
okay.
Yeah, all right. So this one I want to talk about is actually a Dutch TV show that's based in Amsterdam.
Oh, okay.
It is called Dirty Lines.
Dirty Lines. Okay.
Yeah, this is on Netflix. So just to start it off, so it's a young college girl named Marley. She's played by Joy Dilemma. Or Delima, maybe. I'm gonna say Delima because I don't think her name would be Dilemma. But we gotta get these names. I gotta get these names together. We be stumbling over people's names, and it feel like respectfully, we are stumbling over your name.
Yes, exactly. We love you all as actors and actresses.
I apologize. We are not the best at names. But so Joy Delima, she lives at home with her super strict parents, all right? And she needs to get a job so she can get out of their house. So she tells her friend, but actually one of her friends tells her, it's like, yo, go to this place. All you gotta do is sit there, read this script. They pay you $30 as soon as you're done. She was like, it only takes 15 minutes. And she was like, well, what is it? She was like, oh, it's a phone sex script. And then this is how it all starts from there.
Okay.
So she's going to be like our narrator throughout this whole show, which I like the fact that she's a narrator because it gives you kind of like that Malcolm in the Middle vibe, or like, you know, where you're like talking to the person and then you turn around and you look at the camera and then you just be like, let me break this down for you. What's going on?
Yeah.
So basically, I don't know if this is based on a true story or not, or if it's based on true actions, maybe.
Okay.
So in 1989, Frank Stigler, see, there I go with the name. Stigter, he's played by Minnie Cool. He's a man with a plan. He has a master plan. Okay. He's like, I know how to make this money. So since sex sells, Frank had been through multiple bad ideas for like businesses and investing his money in. So like he did the VR 2200, which was supposed to be better than a VCR. Because of the fact that when you paused the tape, it didn't show like the weird lines across it where the tape is actually moving back and forth, trying not to move. So he did that. What was the name of that little thing that we used to jump on? There was a ball in the middle, and then it was like the round part on the outside. You had to put your feet on it and jump on it. It's like a ball polo stick thing.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, he was selling those. He was selling a bunch of stupid stuff, but the only thing is he would get them right at the height of it. So it's like, you get it all at the height, and then by the time you get it and you start selling it, it's already gone. It's gone. It's like Tickle Me Elmo.
Yeah.
Boom. Furbies.
Yeah, you got to get it before it's hot.
Exactly.
On the way of being hotter. Yeah.
Exactly. So, so he and his wife are trying to have a baby.
Okay.
So he used to go to the sperm bank to get his count checked out. See, like, is he the issue? Is she the issue? Because they're trying to have kids. And while he's there, they had left a porn tape in there for him so he can go ahead and like watch it or whatever. But the tape is so old and it's been used so much that like the VCR isn't working properly, and he's just like, oh, this is great. So he closes his eyes, and the sound of the movie makes him aroused. He zips up his pants immediately, throws down the cup, and runs out.
He's like, I don't even need to do this right now. I got a vision.
Absolutely, that's what happened. So that's how he started his phone sex business. Now, what he does is he starts recording like people having sex, and then just record it onto a tape, and then just
Plays the tape
for people to
call
hear
in, listen to this.
Listen to so it's kind of like voyeurism, but for hearing.
Yeah,
hearingism. I don't know what to call it, but yeah, so once he starts doing that, so he has his brother Ramon, right? And that is his business partner.
Okay.
And Ramon is played by Chris Peters. Now, his wife, Natasha, who was played by Charlie Chan Daglett.
Okay.
I got that one right. Hey. But she tells them basically, like, what you're doing, like, this is stupid. You just have people calling in just to listen to like what sounds like a cat drinking milk. This is stupid. So what does she do? She goes and grabs the microphone, goes into like their kitchen or dining room or something like that, and she does her own little story type thing, which is actually how the phone sex business
and the script
got the start. So she didn't even have a script. She just
but
said
that's how it started creating a script from kind of things that she talked about.
Exactly. So that was it right there. So then they were like, oh my God, like this is the best thing ever. So that one recording was so popular that the phone company actually tells them, it's like, hey, we would like to give you more lines, so we want you to go from 30 to 300.
Oh, wow.
And we're going to take a little bit of a cut off of this. You know, everybody's calling you, using us, you paying for our lines, and they're paying you. Everybody wins.
Yep.
And that's how they get a piece of the pot. So, like,
the phone company is in the phone sex business. Go figure.
Why would you not?
I mean, but you would just think, oh, our morals and our values, you know, as some companies
morals
are.
and values with money. That's
but
what
it's
they are.
money, right?
Money.
Exactly.
So now since this has started something so beautiful for Frank, because he finally gets his big break, and he's like rolling in money, so he is happy, and then he wants more. So he has his buddy named Johnny, who's played by Andre Dogelman.
Okay.
And he comes and he helps, and he was like, hey man, look, if you write some scripts, then we can I will help you write some scripts. We can get some girls to read them. We can record those, and then we can have people get in different categories. You can go different places and different ways with this, so you don't have to hear that same tape
one over and over.
Over and over and over again. More guys are going to like that. So once they do that, that is basically how Marley ends up coming into play, where she has to come and read one of these scripts. Now, from there, she becomes extremely successful. Not from reading scripts. She actually starts writing scripts. Marley has a little secret, but you find out about once you start watching the movie, if you do watch, the TV show, if you do watch it. But it's kind of cool. It kind of gives me the vibes of like Wolf of Wall Street, or something where you can't tell if it's like real or not.
Yeah.
But it definitely gives me vibes like that, and it's funny. And I mean, it definitely kept my attention. It was good. I liked it.
Okay.
And now I know none of these actors and actresses. They're all Dutch.
Okay.
But once I went into I swear I clicked on one of the actresses, the girl Joy. I clicked on hers, and then like two of the guys from the movie is in the movie with her.
So they're all.
And then I clicked on his, and then it's like, so I guess they just I don't know if they're in the same production company or if maybe in
same agent, something that's making it where they
doesn't really have much
that many a lot of actors and actresses. Maybe I don't know.
But yeah, that's what I have. Dirty Lines. Check it out.
And it's lines or minds?
Lines.
Lines. Okay,
L-I-N-E-S,
just making sure. Okay.
Dirty Lines. It's just a cute little, like, quirky little thing. It does have a lot of moaning and stuff like that in there, so will not want to watch that with the kiddies.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't think you would watch a porn show with the kitties.
But I mean, yeah. But it ends up being really good, so I do like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not probably one to watch on a plane.
Well, no, because it's not. There's
Well,
only,
that's true. Nobody can
there's
hear
only.
it on the
I think
plane.
there's only one sex scene throughout the whole show, and I think the
there's
show
more
might be
than that
6
and
episodes.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, so this is just more of the sound more
of
than
it,
anything.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's all over the phone.
Okay.
But I mean, they go into multiple businesses from this. So, like, you watch the show, you're gonna be like, these people are freaking smart. They're paid. They are smart. So, it's really good.
All right, sounds good. Well, thanks, sis. Appreciate it.
What's your next one?
So I have again. I am late to the game, but Dead to Me, which is season 3 and the last season of the show, I believe, as far as they have mentioned. But Dead to Me is the show with Christina Applegate and Linda Cardellini. I'm getting ready to say it wrong. Cardellini. They have James Marston and Natalie Morales, Ed Ashner. Like, they've got Katie Seagal. It's kind of a who's who of television in a way is on this show.
Yeah, everybody's on.
And it is in season 3. So if you haven't watched 1 or 2, I would recommend it. I've really enjoyed watching Dead to Me.
I watched 1 and I wasn't really feeling it.
Really? No, I liked 1.
Maybe I need to go back and watch it again. Maybe it's something that I missed. I mean, I thought it was good, but then I thought it was like, this is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's weird. Don't get me wrong. It's not. I never said it wasn't weird.
It's like demented.
To
me, that's how I felt.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a bit much.
It is called Dead to Me, so you're kind of dead to me when you are. You do certain things and.
Yeah, you did to me.
It's a play on words too, because somebody gets killed and then you're dead to me, and then somebody else gets killed, and so it's a lot of death, unfortunately, in regards to Dead to Me. So season 3 is all about the fact that one of the 2 characters is sick and may not make it. So you're just watching it, just trying to figure out what's going on with the show. You follow their journeys as they kind of go through and realize, like, I'm starting a relationship, or I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my, adult kids, or I really feel like I need to do more in my life, or whatever the case may be. So they're going on their own journeys, but at the same time, you're realizing that the friendship and the partnership between these 2, it's like nothing and no one can come between these 2 ladies
absolutely not.
being friends. And they met later in life and under very odd circumstances. That's a good way to say it. A good way to say it, since some of you may not have seen it. Now, I will say that Christina Applegate in real life has MS now, and she is on the show pretty much in various episodes where she's either sitting down, or she's, like, say, in a bed laying down, or something like that you can see that the cast and crew really worked around her situation and condition.
That's awesome.
To make it so that she could be comfortable. And she even said, if I needed a break, they gave me the breaks that I needed. If I had to go back to my trailer and just lay down for a while and then come back, like, she said that they were very encouraging and loving and supporting of her in regards to that, which I thought was great. You still have the additional cast member of Steve, who is on the show, who's a twin brother of somebody else on the show. I'm trying to, like, say things without saying things, but he's on the show, and he has a little bit of a drinking problem and gets into a car accident and does some things that he shouldn't do. And then even that episode in itself kind of plays out in a weird and different and odd way. And I don't know. I just really enjoy the show. I like the fact that these 2 women, even though it's not realistic, I will say that these 2 women came together in an odd way, as you referred to. But once they came together and really got to know each other and realized why they needed to be in each other's lives. I think that really shows in season 3 more than any of the other seasons, the true love between these two women. Like, they are truly ride or die for each other. Like, yeah, like, if you were going to go to prison, then I'm going to make sure you don't go.
Like, literally ride or die.
I will literally carry you across country lines to get to you so that you don't have to go. Or I will...
They're soulmates.
They're soulmates. And I think they even refer to, even though you haven't watched it, I think they even refer to each other as that they are just soulmates for each other.
That's what I feel like. They're soulmates when you have somebody that like you kick it with like that.
Exactly. And so that's what I think the last season is about, is exploring the soulmate-ness of it all, if that's a word, which I know it's not. And then, like I said, knowing that at the end, somebody is going to pass away, and that part of it just brings a whole other element to it. And it's just, it's a main character. You don't know who, and just how it all unfolds from that point also is very, very touching. So, but that's what I have as my second topic, Dead to Me. That is also on Netflix, and they're in season 3. And like I said, as far as I'm aware, it's the last season. So
okay, yeah, I believe it is the last season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, and what do you have?
All right, this is my last one. I'm excited about it. It's kind of cool show. It's on Netflix. It is called Physical 100.
Physical 100.
Once again, subtitles. And everything, but it has the English overlaps and it is subtitles and everything, but I like it. I like it. Okay. All right, so what it is, so it's a Korean TV show, and it has 100 contestants that are in tip-top shape. Right?
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's why it's called Physical 100. Mm-hmm. But they're in like tip-top shape, right? Now, they get to compete in different extreme courses to see who's going to be the one in the best physical shape.
Woohoo, okay.
Yeah, so with this, whoever is number 1 gets 300 million won.
Oh, and what does that equal?
That is $228,168.27
Oh,
US.
Wow. Yeah. Depending on the current rate of currency.
Yeah, depending on the currency. That's what Google told me.
Yeah, that's Google.
All right, so there are like 5 courses that these people have to go through. Now, the first course automatically takes 50 people away.
What? Oh, wow.
But they have a chance to redeem themselves.
Okay.
So the first course, so what it is, they have everybody come in and everybody stand on a number. It's like the floor is just numbered. It's numbered 1 through 100. So everybody just comes in, and then they end up standing like on a number. And then this voice comes, and the voice kind of looks like I can't even explain it, but it's like something that, kind of like an eyeball, but then kind of like static or something like that. I don't know. It's reminding me of something from when I was younger. I don't know, LimeWire or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
Don't ask. So, what this voice does is it tells you all the rules and everything of what you're going to be doing. Now, this one thing that they're going to be doing for their first one is they have to hang from a structure until the last person is hanging.
Okay.
So, now that everybody looks up and they're just like, oh, this is going to be harder than what I thought. And now there's some pretty big dudes on here. Mm-hmm. But now, like the bodybuilder dudes, and they're strong, but they have
that upper body.
You got a lot of muscle, but you ain't that strong, bro. Like you can lift heavy, but you can't hold heavy.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. Mm-hmm.
So, basically, what happens is they drop this thing down. These people start holding on to it, and it just like you just start seeing. It's like after like 2 minutes, some people start falling.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be able to hold myself up that long. So. And then you're done. Well, you said they get a chance to redeem
they gave them a redemption chance, but it wasn't for every. I mean, like all 50 of the people who lost did end up being able to do the redemption thing, but it was only certain ones out of the redemption that won because you had to do two teams. So it was like two teams against each other. So then it was like, all right, so whatever team from these 50 people, whichever team wins gets to go back and join or whatever. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So, another one. So there's one where they have 3 minutes, and 2 contestants have to fight over a medicine ball, but they have to hold on to it. So whoever has the medicine ball at the end of the 3 minutes wins.
Okay.
And then the other person gets knocked out. So then that's another half of the people. Well, a little bit less than half of the people. So another one is the teams have to move sand across a bridge that is suspended just by the bottom, the 2 ropes that are in the bottom. There's nothing for you to hold on to.
I don't think I understand.
It's a bridge, but there's no handles.
Oh, okay.
There's nothing for you to hold on to. It's just a bridge.
Just have to
you just gotta run across it. Yeah.
Run across it with sand? Did you say sand?
Yeah, so you have to have bags of sand.
Okay. And when you run across and you fall off, then
there's a net to catch you.
Okay. I was like, so what happens? Yeah.
You. But I mean, like, if you...
I didn't know if it was like into water or something like that.
No. But you know what? I think if you fell, you might be disqualified for real. That's what I'm believing, because there's no other way for you to get back up there. So, but get this. This is another thing that they had to do. As you're doing this and bringing the sand over, you have to you have 12 minutes to fill up this barrel, and whoever fills up the most sand into this barrel, and it's like a really long barrel or whatever. But whoever fills up the most sand wins.
Oh, okay.
So the other team has to go home. Get this. You have to move the slats that is part of the bridge as you're taking the sand. So you have to grab the slats, put it down. Grab some more slats, put them down. So it starts off with maybe 6 slats.
And then you have to build it.
And then you have to build it.
As
so
you
then
go.
So you gotta use your I guess your balance, as well as trying to put this thing down without falling over into the net.
The net.
Yeah,
and how many people got kicked out of that one? I bet.
Actually, I don't think anybody got. They did really good, because what they ended up doing was they had people who just no, I'm not gonna be good with this bridge. I'm gonna stay right here.
Oh, okay.
I'll just fill up the bags of sand. Y'all go take them over. I got
so you could do that.
Yeah, because everybody's just working together. However,
it's
work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
So, and then they have another one. Another course is they have a mold of your torso, right?
Okay.
And they weigh you as you come in. So that's what they were saying. The contestants were saying. Now, there are a couple of people on there who are not all Korean. Some of them, there's a couple of white guys on there. There's a couple of black dudes on there.
Okay.
So, a bunch of women. It's that's why they try to figure it out for what your body type and everything, because it's literally a mold of your torso.
Okay.
And they have it hanging up in the room.
Okay.
And you have to walk over and find your torso and stand in front of it. And then the challenge is to hold it, which is it's not your full weight, but it's 40% of your weight. But you have to hold it up in the air, and then if you can't hold it, it will drop and break. But the person who's last wins.
The last person wins.
Yeah, the person who holds it up the longest wins. There were some people who had it maybe just a foot away from the floor.
Yeah, but they were holding
were holding on to it, man. And you see, some people, they're holding on to it, but then the rope starts to slip out of their hands and they can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So.
I bet you some people, those muscles must have been aching, and so
the guy who won actually doesn't even look, his body is not oh my God, he's so cut up. He just
a regular guy.
He just looks like a regular guy. And then the guy who got second place, he was kind of cut up. Yeah, he was kind of maybe. But
sometimes I guess it is more about how strong you are. It's kind of like those American Ninja Warriors. They're not always the biggest cut people who win those.
I also think that it's the determination too, because some people are just determined to not give up.
Will not fail. I will die out here on this course before I give up. So,
exactly.
So I'll worry about the pain later.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So but the cool thing about this show is that all these people, I guess they're going to staying at this place. They don't show any barracks or anything. But they are going to stay at this place, and they give them a gym. They give them all the food that they want. They give them protein and whey shakes and everything. A bunch of fruit, vegetables. Like, it's so much stuff. And it was like, some of the guys were like, yo, we can't even get these here. How did we get this here?
Okay.
So they were super excited about that. But it's good because that allowed them to be able to stick with whatever their diet is for them to either be bodybuilders or be MMA people or
fighters
be
and stuff. Yeah.
There's one guy who's like a mountain rescue climber.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's cool. There was a couple kids out on there. Was like a luge. The dude who was the luge guy, he was so fast.
Oh, wow.
He had to have been the fastest guy on the whole show. I don't know.
But don't you have to run really fast to get on the luge and stuff too? So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, his legs were really, really huge.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
but yeah. But that tell you, there's one guy who was on there who everybody kind of looked up to because he's an MMA fighter over there in Korea.
Okay.
And everybody was in awe when they saw him. So these are people these are like celebrities as well as regular people.
Yeah, they're mixed together. Yeah, kind of like the trader that I talked about.
Yeah,
before.
exactly. So I thought that was kind of cool how they had that. But he was like, he said, when I first walked in and there was numbers on the floor, I thought, Squid Games?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I like it. It's very interesting, and it's kind of cool to see how determined people are to do this stuff, and as well as the different challenges that they make up on the show for the people to go ahead and do. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. All right.
Once again, it's Physical 100 on Netflix.
Physical 100.
Yeah.
Netflix. All right.
All right, what's your last one?
I actually have Top Gun Maverick. Top Gun Maverick. It is on Prime Video, so you can watch it with your Prime Video account. And so, of course, we know that it's Tom Cruise in Top Gun, as always, playing the aforementioned role of Maverick. There are quite a few different people in the cast with him that I'll go into in a second. But I feel like, again, I'm behind on this because of the fact that I probably should have already talked about it because it's been out for a while. I actually wanted to at first see it in the theaters, but I totally never made it.
People said they wanted to see it in the theaters.
Yeah, because I think it was one of the first actual movies that they put in the theater that, again, became a multi-million-dollar blockbuster in the theater, where most people were watching stuff still at home. So this was like that first release where they were like, you ain't seeing this at home. You're going to have to go to a theater to see it. So, of course, you have Tom Cruise as Pete Mitchell, a.k.a. Maverick. You have Miles Teller, who plays Rooster. You have Val Kilmer in it, which I was so happy and excited to see Val Kilmer in a movie. It was really good. I won't even give a spoiler on that, but it was good.
So he actually came back for his role? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool.
Yep. So he was Iceman. You have Glenn Powell, who was Hangman. You have Jennifer Connelly, who was in it previously as Maverick's love interest, as Penny. You have John Hamm. He's new to the cast this time, and he plays Cyclone. But everybody, by the way, if you aren't familiar with Top Gun, they have
Mad Men, right?
the nicknames. Yeah.
It's Mad Men, yeah.
Yep. So you have nicknames, and yes, John Hamm is from Mad Men, and so he is kind of like a higher ranking officer than Tom Cruise. You have Monica I can't talk myself. Barbaro as Phoenix. You have Louis Pullman as Bob, which I think is hilarious because that's his name. It's just Bob. Like, it's just so funny that everybody else has a cool, quirky name. You have Jay Ellis, who's been in Insecure, and he plays Payback. Ed Harris just shows up places. You know, you gotta love him. And so he's in there too, and he plays one of the highest ranking officers that really gets Tom Cruise in trouble at the very beginning of the movie. So I'll just start from there. So basically, the movie starts off with Tom Cruise, or Maverick, still being a captain, which everybody is like, you've been here 30 years. You should be a general, you should be an admiral, you should be something other than just a captain. But he also often gets in trouble, as they talk about. So therefore, Iceman is one of the highest ranking officials and has kind of saved his skin a few times. And so based on that, Maverick is working with a crew and they're trying to get these aircraft to get to Mach 10 speed. And so they have money from the government to pull everything together to get this plane to go super, super fast, going up towards like the atmosphere at Mach 10, basically. And like almost being able to go around the world in the atmosphere. So you can like see the earth underneath you, which is kind of crazy. So basically Ed Harris's character is coming to say, look, we're pulling the plug. Let's go ahead and stop this program. I want to use it towards unmanned planes and drones and things of that nature. So in the process of that, Tom Cruise is like, hey, to keep everybody working on this project, I'm just going to go ahead, get in this plane, basically steal it and fly it up and do what we need to do and get it to Mach 10. Well, he does, but it's some drama that comes along with that. And he basically gets moved or shifted to a different location, which happens to be the Top Gun area in which he had been in previously. And so he ends up going to join Top Gun again. And it's so funny because he knows he's in trouble for, number one, stealing the plane and doing what he was trying to do to keep other people's jobs. And so in the process of that, getting sent over to Top Gun wasn't necessarily a punishment for him in a way, because he really enjoyed his time with Top Gun. So he gets to that area. I forgot what it was called, like the Northern Island or something like that. And so he sees Penny, because he just goes to a bar and realizes that Penny owns the bar. And so he's like, okay. And so basically they end up talking, and new cadets for the Top Gun program are there, and they're hanging out and they're singing and they're playing pool and just doing a whole bunch of things. And so he's watching them from afar. But what ends up happening is that one of her rules, Penny's rules at the bar is, and all this is like in the first 30 minutes, if that, of the movie. But one of the things that he is focused on is that she said, you can't put your phone down on my bar, and you can't disrespect a woman.
Why can't you put your phone down?
I don't know.
Okay.
If you do either one of those, you have to buy a round of drinks for everybody in the bar. So I think it's
it's just a sale tactic.
Yes,
She's
exactly.
Smart.
So therefore, what ends up happening is he puts his phone down, and she was like, and then she goes to his bell and rings it. Everybody's like, yay, drinks on him. So, everybody's all excited, which is funny because the sailors, I guess they are sailors because they're in the Navy Top Gun program, but the cadets, as you would say, they actually all are getting free drinks off of him, and they don't even know that he's their captain who's going to be teaching them on this program. He can't get his credit card to work to pay for it. Oh. So they kick him out. And the cadets are the ones who kick him out. So when they show up at school the next morning, guess what? They're like, shucks. The guy I just kicked out, and now he's our boss. Great. And so the story kind of starts from there of him trying to teach these cadets, or these Top Gun best of the best. I'm calling them cadets, and they're probably not. But, these best of the best, their new mission, which is in 3 weeks, they have to get an illegal uranium site taken care of. So they have to shoot it out with missiles. They have to have another jet come in and shoot it again to make sure that one kind of opens up the way to get to the uranium, illegal site. The other missiles have to come behind it to actually blow it up. And then it's like a death-defying event, because you also have to fly yourself out, like pretty much straight up. So shoot the missile, then go straight up into the sky. And from there, you can almost pass out because you're pulling so many G-forces. And then still stay under radar so you don't, they have to stay under radar to get there. But then once you get out of that, you're in radar of all these missiles coming after you. So you can't really pass out because you'll die. So the whole point of the mission is them telling them over and over again, you could die. Oh, you just did that simulation, you're dead. You did that simulation, you're dead. Everything was about, y'all aren't showing that this can be done. So it ends up being that the mission, as they're trying to do simulations, it's tight, it's hairpin turns, it's strong pull-ups, it's avoiding missiles, it's the whole 9 yards. And throughout all of this, you have the background story of Rooster and Maverick, which Rooster is Goose's son. So Goose died.
Oh, they try to keep it as a bird. I like it.
And so Rooster comes in, kind of looks like Goose too. He's got the mustache, he's got the aviators, like the whole 9 yards, wearing his hair kind of like his dad's, everything. He's ticked at Maverick for multiple reasons that I won't go into because you're going to watch the movie if you haven't already. But he basically can't stand Maverick and is upset because he feels like Maverick might hinder him from this mission, which is going to help his career. So he's like, are you going to try to keep me, because my dad died on a mission, are you going to try to stop me from being able to be on this mission and give it to somebody else? So he just doesn't know if he can trust that Maverick will do the right thing for his career, or if Maverick will do the right thing for his life. You know what I mean? Because it is kind of a death-defying mission when you think about it. So Val Kilmer, I'll just talk about that quickly. It was so great to see him. I was very excited because, for people who don't know, he has had health issues of late. And so therefore he has a very hard time speaking. And typically if you see videos of him, he's got like an ascot and things like that, like wrapped around his neck.
Or something like that. Yeah.
And so I didn't look up his condition, but he is in the movie and they work that into the movie, which I thought was great how they worked that in. And you could I almost felt like Tom Cruise was like, I can't do this movie without Val, like he's got to be in it, because he's not in it long, but I just felt like it was good to see him in it. So
I don't know if it was Tom Cruise or maybe it was just like,
it could have been the producers, it could have been anyone, but I just feel like there was an energy there that I personally felt like when they hugged, it just felt like, you probably wanted to just get that hug into the movie. Yeah. You didn't have to. I mean, this is your boss's boss's boss. You know what I mean? But you knew each other. But at the same time, it's like, it was just it just felt good. So in regards to the movie itself, I really enjoyed it. It felt like a quick watch. I don't even know how long it actually took, but it didn't feel like a long movie. And it has 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. So
how long was it?
I didn't look. I was like, I didn't look to see how long it was, but I just felt like it wasn't an overly long movie like some of them.
2 hours and 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I think that some of that's credits and stuff, but it didn't feel like it. I guess if it is 2 hours and 10 minutes, it didn't feel like 2 hours and 10 minutes. It felt like it moved along at a decent clip. And so that's what I had as my last topic. But I did have a quick, hot topic, as you call it, which is just a little thing about, do you know how to act or how to behave? Mm-hmm. Have you heard of that? There is I don't know if you want to call it a story or a whatever, but basically the New Yorker came out with ways in which you would know, like, do you know how to behave, basically is what it was called. But it's like different things that people can do and whether or not you are behaving appropriately in regards to different scenarios. So for example, if you were to cancel on a party, do you know what's the latest time of the day that you could cancel on said party?
Whenever I feel like it.
That would be your response.
No, I would typically cancel before unless something came up. Like a while before.
Right. So what this says is that you have until 2 p.m. on the day that anything is going on to cancel if the person isn't preparing food for you.
What time am I supposed to be getting with this person?
It might be 6.
What if it's 11 o'clock at night?
They're just saying that the rule is that you should cancel by 2 p.m. It gives your friend ample time to choose whether or not, like say, for example, if it's just 3 of you, right, that are going to meet. If you cancel by 2, then the other 2 people can just say, hey, are we still meeting? Are we still getting up? Or you want to just chill or whatever the case may be, as opposed to not showing up or, potentially not doing, or the 2 of them just going ahead and hanging out together. But it says if somebody is telling you a story and you've heard that story before, do you let them continue on and tell the story to you again, or do you stop them?
I stop them.
And if you stop them, how far into the story should you stop them? Once you realize,
as soon as I realized, but like, oh, you told me that. You remember when you said that?
Yeah, exactly. That's what they were saying, is that when you realize that it's a story that your friend has told you, you have roughly 2 to 3 seconds to be like, oh, yeah, you did mention that to me before. Oh, yeah, I remember because such and such happened, so that way your friend doesn't go through it. Now, if your friend goes through it and it's longer into the story, just let them tell it again. And you don't.
Oh, that means I didn't pay attention the first time.
If you didn't realize, and you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, they did tell me the story, and they're already like a fourth of the way through.
Yeah, I do that.
Then just let them tell it again and be like, oh, okay, all right, cool.
But then probably because I heard bits and I only listened to bits and pieces of it. I heard everything, but only listened to bits and pieces.
Yeah, so but it's things like that the New Yorker came up with. Never wake up your significant other on purpose. Ever. So it's like, say you're sleeping and I don't know.
I'm getting ready for work. Like I'm like while I'm getting ready for work.
Not like that. No, it's more of like, okay, I'm upset at you and you're asleep, but now I'm gonna wake you up at 3 a.m. because I just can't continue to sleep.
Oh, so like intentionally wake them up out of spite.
Intentionally. Well, it doesn't say out of spite, but that's the example that I came up with off of my head.
Because
or even if the baby starts crying, if you're hearing the baby crying, just go ahead, as opposed to your spouse might not have, and you would nudge them and be like, hey, you got to get up and go.
Unless it was their turn to get the baby. Then you got to get up and get that baby.
That's where they're. So some of these things I will say are a little more like, okay, whatever, like in a perfect world, maybe, but the reality is this stuff isn't ever going to happen. While on a date, if you find yourself talking a lot, ask yourself, when was the last time I asked a question?
Oh, that's smart.
That one's good because sometimes people, have a tendency to talk about themselves so much that they're not asking questions about them, finding out more about the person that they're with. So anyway, here's something that people might disagree with. It's acceptable to tell any kind of lie in order to leave a drinks-only date. So if you're on a drinks-only date, like, oh, we're just meeting up for drinks, and then you're realizing it is not going the way that you thought it would, it's acceptable to tell any kind of lie to get out of that.
No, you just tell them. You're like, so look, I thought this was going to go a whole different way than what it's going. So I'm going to get ready to go, but this was so much fun. Let's not do it again, all right? I'll talk to you later.
Everybody doesn't have that ability. Yeah. There's so many people who can't tell somebody no.
Send a text message.
Why do you think we have so much ghosting going on right now? Because people don't know how to tell people no.
What if you just like send a text message to your friend like, yo, call me so I can get out of this? Is that
I mean, then that's the lie.
Yeah, that's the lie.
That's the lie. Like text, hey, can you call me? I got to go somewhere. Yeah, whatever. So anyway, it's some interesting things about humans using animal voices to talk to their animal in front of other people as opposed to just in private.
Wait, doing what?
So like, you talk to, like you talk to
cheeky wiggy. Cheeky wiggy.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm thinking more like dog voices to dogs or me to the cats and stuff. Like, doing like how you would talk to your animal when you're by yourself, but you are
impersonating their accent.
Exactly.
Impersonating your animal's accent.
And it says it's never too late to send condolences to someone. Never send an editable arrangement. I don't know why. They just say don't do that. It's okay to ghost after a first date. So they got a few things on here that, some may be questionable. Some might be very enlightening and awe-inspiring. So I just wanted to take
I want to know about the edible arrangements thing. I need to look into
They don't even explain it because I love a good fruit basket.
Yeah, that's what
it's so tasty and it's so cute and creative. But they said that things that are appropriate in any situation, they said money would be more appropriate. Getting somebody, they even said a smoked turkey would be better.
What? Then an edible arrangement? I think no, let's not talk about this. What website is this? Is this the Inquirer?
It's from the New Yorker.
The Star?
No.
You remember Star and Inquirer magazine?
Yes, they still are out there, I'm sure.
Oh, they really?
So,
man.
So,
shout out to Star.
And look, here's one. Don't describe TikToks. It's boring to describe. It's just boring to describe. Like, you have to send it to somebody. You have to show it to them because it's too hard. But anyway, so they have some interesting things on here. Like I said, everything might not be for everybody, but if you are interested, the article is called, hold on, let me get back to it. Do you know how to behave? Are you sure? How to tip, ghost, text, host, and generally exist in a polite society today.
How this had to have been written by somebody who is young.
I have no idea, but
because only somebody with young would say.
Well, it's talking about all these kinds of topics.
But I mean, it's like only somebody young would say, "Hey, don't send an edible arrangement."
I think it's because it's about
send
all
a
that.
smoked
But I mean,
turkey.
It's literally. Well, they were just saying like if you're sending something for condolences, for example, don't send an edible.
Oh, for
arrangement.
condolences.
No, in that instance,
in that
that's what they were
instance.
saying.
Yeah.
But they were like, there's other things that you could send, like, oh, you graduated, here's money, versus an edible arrangement.
Okay.
You know, like I think that's what they were trying to say. Okay. But it's well over 100 things that they have here that you can do. And yes, as I'm looking at it, she is young. So as I'm looking at it, Lilia Gohar. It looks like it's the one who might have written it for the New Yorker. 129 things.
Okay.
So everybody, that is it for us with Sestra-Tainment. Everybody have a wonderful week and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.